2022 meeting for the City Council of the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. Tonight we do have a very busy agenda on for us, as well as a couple of executive sessions at the end for us to meet with the attorney and go over employee reviews. So we'll cut right to it and see if we can get through this large list as quickly as possible. First off, we do have the invocation. We have Ray Mattison here. Ray? There's a microphone for you.
Father, we are grateful for these individuals who are willing to lead our community in the way that they do. Father, I know that they face a lot of pressure and a lot of questions, a lot of sometimes even opposition. But God, I just pray that you will give them the wisdom, the discernment, and the courage to make the wisest decisions possible on behalf of Lamar. And Father, I just pray that you would guide this meeting, that it would be one that you guide and you lead, and that, Father, that there is a spirit of unity, and that you will continue to bless this community in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Jerry, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:01 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Bellamy.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins.
Here.
Kirk Crespin.
Here.
Oscar Riley.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Anne Marie Crampton.
Here.
Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen McCray.
Here.
Lance Clark.
Here. Okay, we've all received the consent agenda. I didn't see any items that we needed to separate out. Did anybody else, or any modifications? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Any final questions?
Yeah, I want to know, who is this at 708 North? What's the business name?
That's the business name. G. Ojla and Lamar LLC, which is, they sell pilot fuel and 76 fuel,
Okay,
but that is the business name.
so Union 76, basically. Well, that's the station.
That's the station in front and Pilot's the
Okay,
station in
because
back.
I had no idea what that was.
But the convenience store is that name.
Okay.
Okay. So that would be for pilot. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comment. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that's at the discretion of the council. Is there anybody who would like to speak to the council on any items? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. We do ask, if you do have questions at the end of the meeting, we'll review those online, or if anybody submits them online, we'll review those during the miscellaneous if there is time to do so. If not, we'll get back with you as soon as we can. So moving on, we will go to the reports and correspondence. City Treasurer's report. Kristen?
The only thing I have to report is that our audit has started, our on-site audit, so it will be going this week through the 6th. So the auditor is on site and we're providing him information. Had a busy day, so it's going well so far, first day, but so that's what we're busy doing right now, so me and my staff, so.
Great. Okay, thank you. Any questions for the city treasurer?
Christian, who's the auditor this year?
Farmer.
One Farmer again? Okay.
So we did a 3-year, or how long did we do? A 3-year term?
I believe it was a 3-year, yes.
3-year contract.
Yeah, I think we have one more year on that.
One more year?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for the treasurer? Seeing none, we'll move on to the city clerk's report. Linda?
And I have no report tonight.
All right. Next is the city administrator's report.
All right. Coffee with Rob. Make sure you come out there and let me buy you coffee and talk about issues in the city. This week, we're going to go to Pit Stop, and then next week, after the council has their breakfast, we'll go to Dunkin' Donuts, Daylight Donuts, and Brew Unto Others. So it's on me, and come in and let off a little steam with me before we go to the council meetings. Let's see. I wanted to say happy birthday to my wife, so if it's getting up there, she's had her birthday today, so she's special. All right.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
Yay! April Fool's Day, April 1st. So I guess you gotta be ready for that too. I don't know, are you guys allowed to do that kind of stuff up here? Council breakfast,
Breaks in the office.
council breakfast, April 6th at Rivals. So I guess 7 a.m., be there and have coffee on them this time. You can come talk to them about issues that you would like to bring up. Projects updates. Okay, I guess I have a couple. You know, if you've seen some of our public works guys, they've been working on issues out there, and as the springtime comes up, it's going to be a lot faster. I know that the parks they're going to be super busy here soon, and they're working right now. The curb and gutter on Sword Street. We've got 18-inch water line. You guys saw a lot of work out there by the park. And this week, they're working on the Escondido Park water well, getting it back up and ready. So there's public works are getting busy, and they're going to be super tapped. So you got a lot of good, hardworking people in support of all the citizens out here. I know that they started moving the blue building today, too.
Oh,
So that's very good. And we're going to have that all out of the way, ready for Arby's coming in. So
Great.
we won't have any, and I know Public Works is ready. As soon as that last piece is gone, Pat says that's his priority, and we'll make sure we get that out of the way.
Great.
All right, let's see.
On projects,
Uh-huh.
what is the status of Washington Street project? I know we had a grant on that, if you could check on
I
it.
will.
We had a grant, and we did an extension on it at the end of last year, I believe it was.
No,
or-
it was carrying through, but
Carrying through.
what the deal was is we had the contractor do their work first, and then
Okay.
the rest of it is our in-kind work. And we had bought pipe and everything to finish it up, so we just need to get that finished up.
Okay, it's the Washington Street.
So it's just
drainage,
ARPA,
so-
okay.
Yeah, just our portion left.
Yeah, with the rain season coming up, I just thought I'd ask about
Yep.
that, because that's usually a bottleneck for our,
Station, mhm.
yeah, the lift station.
Right.
Okay.
So any other miscellaneous questions or anything council may have on projects?
Any feedback on our joint meeting with Lana?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I have with the city administrator over there, or city manager. He is super excited. He says it's going to be hard to outdo because of all the stuff that we showed him, and they want to be, if they're watching online right now, I know you want to be from Lamarians, but it's going to be hard to outdo out there, and they were all positive and supportive, and they were willing to share, and I believe that we'll see, as soon as we get our invite, that we'll see that type of courtesy back. I know that we want to, we started the process a little bit late on getting contracts for some of the things that we may or may not be able to share costs on, but now that we've made this connection, they really want to keep it going, and they said they really keep the offers coming, and we want to maybe include some other people into some joint little bitty regional meetings or something like that.
Yeah.
Very good, great job, guys.
Yeah.
Made a good impression.
Just as a side note, I know Councilman Gonzalez had contacted me and notified me that the tree board was looking at renting an auger, or the rec department was looking at doing a tree spade, and I did request, check in with Lahana to see if theirs was available, because they do have one. They are in the middle of doing their own planting at the same time, so we weren't able to do it this year, but they thought maybe next year, if we keep in touch with them, that might be an option in the future, but something to look at as far as saving expenses on larger equipment that we already rent or lease. If we can rent or lease it from our neighbors, that might be a better option than others, but if we can't, we can't. But it was nice to reach out to them and ask them and make that offer, and they appreciated it. So, okay.
all
I
I have.
have
Oh,
a
yeah.
question.
Uh-huh.
The old motel that was knocked down.
Troy Motel.
Thank you. I had a few people ask me if there's a way they can make that fence look a little nicer. It looks really bad, it's knocked down, and either take it away and just put up a sign that says no trespassing, but they said it looks pretty tacky.
We'll look into see what we can do in the interim in case, before any improvements or something might happen. I'll look into that one for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question for Rob. Rob, are we any closer on our amendment on our ordinance for the parking, semi-parking?
Yes, we are. Would you like an update?
I would.
So, I've been working with Lance. We went over a week or two ago, we met about it. I have a draft over to him, kind of the first cut of it. Once he gets that, I'm sure we'll kick it back and forth a couple more times. Then we'll be bringing it back to council here pretty shortly.
I'm sure that's something that's going to require a reading and a first reading, second
Yes.
reading.
Yeah, because this will be an ordinance revision, so we'll have to do a first reading and a public hearing with the second reading as well. So it'll be made public.
Thank you for the update.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
It's an ordinance then? Yes.
It'll be an ordinance update, so we'll be modifying an ordinance. First reading, second reading. Is that correct, Lance?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other
No,
questions for the
sir.
city administrator?
That's all I had.
All right. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is reports and correspondence from the council. Any liaison reports or,
I have some simple ones.
okay?
I had an opportunity to go to the community building and meet with Jane Felter from the tree board, and we got to look at some posters from some fifth graders. That was quite nice and eventful, so we did pick out 2 of them, and she's supposed to submit those, I believe, to the state, and then they will pick from other areas which ones that will be presented and go from there. And we had a planning and zoning meeting as well, and they visited about the Langston Heights subdivision, and that got approved through them, and so I'm sure that's gonna be approved through council tonight. There was also talks on their tables about tiny homes. I mean, they had a lot of talking back and forth on that. There was nothing set in stone. They've got a lot of good ideas, a lot of great ideas, and I'm looking forward to being involved in more in that, to hear what they've got to come up with. And so that was also on the table as well, the tiny homes project.
Okay.
Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay. Mike, did you have anything?
No, I don't believe so.
Jerry?
Yes, the library just finished revising their general circulation policy, and it'll be brought to the city council soon. They also did their annual report, which is required by the state of Colorado, and you can go onto the website and review on the library website to review it. And Lamar Housing didn't have any updates.
Okay. Oscar, do you have anything?
Joe covered it.
All right. Manuel?
Just another reminder, since we are looking for a really great person, Prowers Economic Prosperity is still accepting applications for the associate director position. That person could be our next director, so it's really important that we get a lot of well-qualified candidates.
Mayor, is this a good time maybe to bring it up that we're going to need to possibly have a different liaison to?
Well, we can, yeah, if you, since Anne
Not to
Marie
get
is
rid
the
of you,
liaison, but
Because you're the boss.
we can have a discussion on that
Okay.
offline or online. I know generally the liaisons are members of the different boards, and we act as a non-voting member or a non-voting person on the board. Anne Marie has been our PEP liaison, and she has now been elected as the new president of PEP.
For the second time.
For the second time. So, but as a
Voted the first
president,
time.
as the president, she is not a voting member as it is. So there was a question on how we would work that and if we needed to change the liaison or if we could leave her the same. I'm not sure how that would work.
Okay.
So we can
We'll
discuss
talk
that
about
and we'll bring that back at the next meeting. But it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, any other questions or anything else? Did you have anything on PEP, by the way? Just the
That was it.
job? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the approved proclamation number 22-01, a proclamation of the City of Lamar declaring April 14th as Arbor Day and April 10th through April 16th as Arbor Week. Looks like we have some individuals from our tree board, if you'd like to come up. You have to kick them, huh?
Do you have a copy of the?
Yes, I do. So did you want to read the proclamation?
I was hoping you would.
Oh, well, I guess I could. It's
Okay.
it's a pretty short one, so I can
It's
handle
not
that.
bad.
Yeah. So, first off, the proclamation is, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil and wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. So that is the proclamation. We would need to get an approval by the council.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, I'll come up and sign that with you. So I'll finish off with it saying, now therefore I, Kirk Crespin, Mayor of the City of Lamar, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 14th as Arbor Day in the City of Lamar, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this for future generations. This will be dated the 28th of March, 2022.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yay.
Do you want to take a picture or give us a report or anything?
I was going to give you a report of what's going on, okay? Normally Jane Felter is here. Thus I am in her place as she is somewhere on the East Coast, and I am Kim Van Hook. Presently, the members of our tree board, there's myself, Dewey Norfleet, Jack Van Hook, Judy Arnold, and Jane Felter, and we have a vacancy, and if anyone's here interested to be on the tree board, we'd love to have you. And we also have our liaison, Councilman Gonzalez, is coming to visit us now. Now, come April 14th, this year, the fifth graders will be joining us at our Escondido Park to plant trees. And we invite everyone, if you want to see a free-for-all, let's come out to Escondido Park and plant trees with 110 fifth graders. The Lamar's Cirrhosis Club usually provides drinks and so forth to us, but we like to have volunteers, and we're running a little lax on help of running 110 fifth graders. Aren't we, Dewey and Jack?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you have some time available that day at 1 o'clock, we will start at the Escondido Park. And from then we'll go to the Willow Creek Park, and the trees are coming from the Pollen Grove. This is the 31st year that Lamar has been a Tree City USA, and this is our flag that we have proclaimed that.
You might come around this way, though,
Yeah.
so you can see on
So they
the
can see
camera
on the
there.
camera.
We have to walk backwards. You ever seen two men try and do anything?
This is the 150th anniversary of Arbor Day in the U.S. Special celebration for our 150th Arbor Day celebration will be at the courthouse in October. We are planning to plant 3 trees and furnish hot dogs and hamburgers in celebration of this. Date will be announced. We think the county building needs some nice big trees again.
Hey. Wake up back here.
Have a council, or a commissioner here.
Let's see, if you notice, we are working on having a flagpole for the Tree City USA placed up. Plus, at the community building, there is a big tree on the south entrance that we're putting plaques up for persons who have worked with the Tree City in memorial or in honor of those that are there. And that's what we have at this point, but we'd love to have some more volunteers on our tree board. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Thank you for all your work, too.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. Okay, so that took care of item 1 and 2. We had the presentation of Tree City USA warden announcement and activities. So that gave us an update. So we'll move on to item number 3, presentation by Prowers County Public Health Department on Narcan. Looks like we have a couple of representatives here from the Prowers County Department of Public Health. If you'll just provide us with your name, and then you can go ahead.
So I am Ryan Woolard. I am a public health nurse and I also work with DHS and I supervise our WAIT program. My name is Pamela Williams and I'm just a public health nurse. So we just wanted to bring it to the public's attention that with the increased opiate overdoses that we've seen, especially a lot in the city, that Powers County Public Health Environment has naloxone, or commonly known as Narcan. It's just a medication that can reverse the effects of an overdose. The good thing about Narcan is it can be given, and if you aren't having an OD or an overdose, it's not going to be consumed. Brian and I can give training to take about 15 minutes. We ask no questions. If you want to have Narcan on your person, you just give us a call, make an appointment, and we'll be happy to do that training and maybe save a life.
So this is for anybody in the public, general public. If they wanted to carry Narcan on them, they could contact you, go through the training, and receive one to carry with them. Is that right?
You have to be over 18, yes, and it comes in 2 doses, and we'll go over all of that with you when you come. And if you use your dose or if you need another one, feel free to call us and we'll give you another one, and it's free. So.
Okay. That's very big. That's a good service for the community, definitely.
Do all our first responders have access to?
They have access to it, yes.
Now, do all the officers carry those or have those, or?
No, we have such a good ambulance crew, they normally beat us there, so it's kind of a moot point for us to trade on it.
Okay. Okay.
Can you give too much of this drug?
All right. Do we have any other questions for our guest tonight? Guess not. That was quick and easy. Thank you very much. And of course, like she said, if anybody would like to get those, please contact the Department of Public Health.
And we have more handouts if anybody is interested. There is English and Spanish.
And they can call the office at 336-8729.
Okay.
No, no. Like I said, it won't hurt you if you, like, if you were.
Somebody who's 500.
And it's just a nasal spray. It's not a shot. It's just a nasal spray. And it's just a very simple, straightforward. Very easy to do.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I would assume that would help.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Sand and Sage Roundup Wild West Barbecue Cook-Off. This is for the committee request. Or do we have anybody here from the Wild West? This was brought in by Cindy Bennett. Does anybody know about this?
This is pretty unusual that she's not here.
Rick? Would you mind speaking on it? Well, we can table it, but I think they may need that.
Well, the one thing I do know, it's May 5th and 6th at Willow Creek Park,
6th and 7th.
or 6th and 7th. It's in May, first weekend. Let me put it that way. They will be coming. They have reserved the park, they've reserved the shelter. I did visit with Cindy today just to get a few items taken care of as far as what we needed, some housekeeping, and so we'll be in touch several times before that, making sure that we have additional trash cans, all their electrical hookups are working, and how many, of course, it all depends on how many teams they have. I think they usually have somewhere around 30, if I'm not mistaken. It's a great event. I can't tell you that. The park is full. I've never smelled Willow Creek as good as it is during that time.
Do you know if they need taste testers?
You know, they do have judges. And I don't know, at one time they had a lot of volunteer judges, and then they had to be
Carded out?
Kansas barbecue something certified.
Yeah.
But they do have sometimes other judges, and I'll definitely give them your name.
Okay.
So this is for the overnight camping in Willow Creek Park on Friday and Saturday, May the 6th and 7th.
It could be Thursday as well.
It may be Thursday night.
They do have teams that come in Thursday night as well.
Okay.
And so I would add that. I don't know if it was on there. I don't know what she put on there, but I do know that sometimes teams do start coming in on Thursday. The bulk of the teams will get here Friday. Of course, they start cooking Friday night because the judging is on Saturday. So just to cover them, I would definitely add Thursday.
Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
Yes.
Okay. And we haven't had any problems with this in the past, or?
No, we really haven't. They're there for a reason. They're there to compete. They're trying to make money. They do a very good job of that. And it's a lot of fun. They've got some really nice grills there. I mean, the money they spend on those things is amazing. So if you want to go by and just enjoy barbecue, go see that place.
Okay. All right. Council, what do you think? Any questions?
Make a motion to let them camp Thursday and Friday.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to allow overnight camping on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is consider approval for the Lamar Days annual car show request. This is initiated by Ron Cook, who has ran this for many, many years. Ron, you're here tonight.
Good evening. You those. I help with this. My wife actually runs it. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have done. I want to start and thank Lamar Rec Department, Lamar Police Department, Lamar Fire Department, and everybody involved there who helps put this on. If you notice, this is the only free car show probably in 5 states. And this is sponsored by 28 merchants in this community. Okay? Also involved with this is Lamar Chamber of Commerce. We'll have vendor booths out there. Lamar Rotary Club with the Ducky Dash will be there too. You can see the ducks float down the creek. It's pretty spectacular. It works pretty good. I'm asking for use of the park. I'm hoping I don't have anybody staying in there for Friday night. Just in case, I would like to ask for that. I am highly recommended on our vendor sheet. We changed that. Everybody has to be in the park by, if they're a food vendor, we big trailer by 6 o'clock. No later than 7:30. Trying to clean up the traffic before the parade starts. Like I said, this is the 26th annual. Should have been the 27th, but COVID stepped in and messed us all up. So, car show, we have actually been putting on this car show about 31 years between different groups of people. So, it's a pretty spectacular weekend. We have the No Booze Cruise, the police department, the fire department on Saturday night. We'll start at the Sonic Drive-In. We'll have a music band set up there. We'll have a cruise, a poker run. Half the proceeds of that go to No More Fireworks Fund. And 9 times out of 10, whoever wins it donates the money back. So it's been $1,200 to $1,500 probably for the last 5 years. So I want to welcome everybody out, and I'd like permission to use the park.
Okay. So this, okay, we have a motion
A second.
and a second. So we have a motion and a second to approve overnight camping for the annual Rod Run. This is on May 20th and May 21st. Any-
Mayor, for 2 nights, both nights?
This would be for just the one night?
We'll be out of the park by probably about 6:30 Saturday.
So Friday, May the 20th is the only night that you would need it? Okay. All right, so we do have a motion and a second to approve. Any final questions?
Yeah, Ron, what night did you say the cruise was? It's on Friday, isn't it?
It's one, the May 20th one, Friday.
I thought I heard Saturday.
No, it is Friday night.
Okay.
And we have good participation. It's amazing how many people come out and cruise Maine with us. So bring your cars out, doesn't have to be anything special, just show up and have a good time. Okay?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, moving on. Next item is appointments to the Lamar Historic Preservation Advisory Board. This was initiated by Morgan Alba. Morgan?
Hi, these are just, we have a couple of vacancies that we want to fill. There was a mistype on this, though. The terms, so for these are 3-year terms. So Mr. Jacob Peterson and Roger Smear, they're for 3-year terms. I guess these terms expired in 2020. So these terms will expire in 23. So that's the only change.
Okay. So we would be approving for Jacob Peterson and Roger Schmer.
Yes. And then Stephanie, our secretary, signed off on this, so the board's aware.
Jacob Peterson's only lived in this city for 2 days.
It looks like it, yeah. But he's also a park ranger, so I think he's just trying to get involved.
Oh, yes. This is, he had reached out to me a while back and had asked me what he could do to get involved in the community. And I had sent him a list of, or mentioned that we had a lot of advisory boards with openings. He is a park ranger at John Martin Reservoir. Is that correct? And just wants to get involved in the community. He was here at our last meeting attending. I don't know if you remember him here, but he was in the back attending, just trying to become more aware. He's from a larger community and hasn't had the opportunity to really be involved. Okay. So what's the council's pleasure here?
I move we approve the 3 appointments.
Okay, sorry.
You do. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve both appointments. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, Morgan. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Main Street Flowers. This is initiated by Rick Akers. This is more for information and direction. So Rick, if you'd like to continue.
Okay, yes, council, this is for our Main Street flowers, actually all the street flowers, flowers by the post office, we got flowers everywhere. And so this is a little different we've done last year than in the year past, just to let you know. Usually the flowers are purchased, they are then planted, I think, by the 4-H or FFA or somebody helps plant them, the kids do. And then we always go out for a contract to get watering. That has been a real problem in the past, trying to find reliable people to water flowers. And they're watered at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week, depending on the heat and if we're getting moisture or anything. And so in visiting and going through the budget last year, we got with Kristen and the council, and we approved $15,000 for a turnkey job. So this year the bid went out that the successful bidder would purchase the flowers, they would plant the flowers, and they water the flowers. They take care of the total job of that from May 1st to October 31st. We did go out for bid. We only got 1 bid back, and that was from the home store for $19,650. The city had budgeted $15,000 for this, not knowing for sure what we were going to get into. So we came up, it was a $4,650 short. LPI, I reached out to them. LPI sent them a letter. It was unanimous by their people that they would in turn write a check to the city of Lamar for $4,650 so that we can honor this contract and get the flowers going. So I'm just asking council to award the bid and let us get flowers in all the pots.
This is cheaper in the long run from the previous, isn't it? Or you paid the separate water guy?
No, it's really pretty close to almost exactly what we had been spending. I think last year, don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna say we probably spent between $10,000 and $11,000 on flowers. And then we had $7,000 to water. So it's pretty much the same as what we had been spending. It's just now it's one outfit, and we don't have to worry about having somebody out there watering the flowers and doing that.
Now, will they provide their own vehicle and the
Yes.
watering and all for the watering?
Yes.
Okay.
The city will provide the water.
The water.
Okay,
just
they'll
not the
go over
vehicle.
to the waterman,
Okay,
you know, for what, a quarter, 250 gallons that they buy over there.
okay,
They'll still do that.
okay.
Uh,
But they'll use their own vehicles and,
Their
So
own
we won't have
vehicles,
that expense.
their liability, the whole 9 yards.
okay,
So it takes a lot of liability off the city of Lamar.
okay.
Could you include in the motion that you would allow you to sign the contract once it's approved by the attorney?
Okay, so Kristen was just mentioning that we would need, in the motion to either approve or deny, if we move to approve, we would need to add that the mayor could sign with the attorney's review. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
And
You
there's
just kind of
a-
speak softly, so I
Oh,
thought I'd
sorry.
repeat.
And there's a sample contract in your packet. And did you look it over?
So does anybody have any questions for Rick?
I do. I have one question. I'm not sure how to word it. These contractors here, who are they gonna be working under, or I guess who is gonna oversee them? Like, who do they answer to?
They'll answer to me.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
what's in the agreement, IGA, or whatever we have for them, that they will answer to me.
To the
Okay.
satisfaction of the city's Parks and Rec director.
Correct.
What about stolen or dying flowers?
Stolen or dying flowers, I guess they will be without, because they won't be replaced. We don't have a budget to go in and replace them. I can tell you that with the home store, I've been very pleased with what they do. That's where the flowers have always been bought. At one time, before COVID and all the help, we did have Janice and Gordon Quinn. They actually took care of the flowers. We didn't have to worry about anything. They were maintained, and they worked for themselves. I mean, they did a great job. I mean, that's probably the best the flowers has ever been. In the last, we try to hire, like a high school kid or somebody that wants to, whether it's retired or whatever, that wants to do that. And honestly, now with the amount of flowers we have, and when we were doing it with Main Street construction, that wasn't simple, trying to get out there and water those flowers. And so now it's gonna take a big headache off our department, with them taking over this whole thing.
And I think that's where the savings is on the ancillary cost, because dollar-wise, we're probably looking at a fairly even between what we did last year and what this new proposal would be. But the difference is the time away, trying to manage it, manage the employees, because we did have a time where employees weren't arriving on time or watering them on time, or not watering them enough, and the plants would start dying, and we'd be scrambling trying to save them. So there is a lot to maintain on that, so that's one thing that Rick wouldn't have to worry about as much. And then, like I was saying, asking about the liability on the vehicle, and that was an additional expense, so.
One more question, is there some reason why we're doing this in 2 payments instead of 1? Since it is a business that we're paying, I mean, it's not like they're not gonna honor the contract.
It's not, I tell you, I have talked with the business to see how, and they're fine with whatever we came up with. As a matter of fact, they thought it was pretty good. The $13,100 that we broke it out to initially will more than pay for the flowers, so they're not out any upfront costs. And this way there's something they thought that at the end of the term, it's successful and everything, they get their final check, they're good. I'm not worried about it, honestly, but they're fine with this, the way it is, Mike. They don't need, but that, again, that's a council's pleasure.
That's just something else
If,
Kristen's got to
if we
worry
need to
about.
change that and we need to go to one payment or however, it's up to you guys. It totally is. I thought 2, in visiting with everyone, that 2 would be good, and that's how we came up with that. And then I did visit with the business owner.
So is that kind of your preference as well, the 2 payments or 1 payment?
One's always better, but
Mhm.
if we wanted to do, I think the thing, if it wasn't somebody local that we hadn't already done business with, you'd want that performance measure in there.
Right.
You'd want that final payment to be able, if they hadn't fulfilled the whole contract. Doing that large payment at first gets them the flowers bought. So I think that's, if we wanted to use that same contract again, and if it, like I said, if it wasn't somebody local that we trusted, or had done business with in the past, I'm fine either way. So, thank you.
Okay.
And this is an independent contract. It's not, you say oversight, but it's not direct supervision. You're not monitoring it in that level. They're still contracted for this service. So just to be clear, it is an independent contract. They're not employees of the city.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Rick?
I move we award the bid to the home store and allow the mayor to sign the agreement once it's completed with the blessing of Lance Clark.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to award for the home store and allow the mayor to sign after the attorney review. Any other final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, Rick. Okay, moving right along. Proposed agreement for law enforcement and security services. This is the proposed agreement for the After Prom Committee for law enforcement and security services during the After Prom activities. Kyle?
Good evening. They're gonna have the prom April 30th and May 1st this year. They're requesting 4 officers. I'm sorry, this is for the after prom. So we do the prom with the school district first, and then we do the after prom. They're requesting officers to be around until their festivities are about done to be over. And they're requesting from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. And just really officers to be there in case there's any problems or as a deterrent type of thing. So I'm just asking for council to approve this and allow the mayor to sign the agreement.
Is this Lamar High School?
This is the after prom, so it's our high school, but they have the high school where they do the dance, and then they have the after prom, they have a committee, so we have to have 2 different agreements.
Did we do the first one already?
We do that annually with the school district, so we don't have to come back for all.
So it's all combined?
Right.
Okay. So this is just a separate, just for the after prom?
Correct.
How many officers at a time are on shift?
This is
For the entire time?
This is extra, so these will be 2 officers that are not on duty. They're there. So
You
for
said
the-
there was going to be 4
For the
officers.
dance, there's 4, and then I believe they're requesting 2.
I didn't see on here how many actual officers were
Yeah.
requesting.
$40 an hour and 3, that'd be 120, so it'd be 2 officers.
So it's 2 officers?
For the after prom, correct?
Okay. So 2 officers for the after prom. Okay, any other questions?
I make a motion to approve the law enforcement and security request for the event.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agreement from law enforcement and security services. One last question is, have you reviewed this, Lance?
Yeah,
Okay, no problems?
no issue.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do you have the staff to perform this task?
I sure hope so. These are off-duty officers, so
Has anybody volunteered yet?
we don't put it up until we have approval from council.
Okay.
So once we have approval, then we'll do our sign-up sheet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right. Next item on the agenda is the post-grant Colorado Post awards grants to Colorado law enforcement agencies. This is also initiated by Chief Miller.
So this is our annual in-service grant that we get in order to meet the mandates which are set by the state. This year, we're requesting a total of $5,603.61 worth of equipment. The state has a number that they're going to give us. We don't know what that is until we apply. So generally, it's in $3,000, $4,000 is what we get from them. We always shoot a little bit high, hoping for the best. This is an electronic submission, and so we're just asking for permission to apply for the grant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Moving right along to item number 10. This is approved Langston Heights subdivision plat. After further review, we'll need to have a discussion on this one. This was initiated by Craig Brooks, but I'll let Rob go ahead and talk about this.
Well, of course, this is just something that has to be done the next step into, they've already gone through planning and zoning, made a recommendation, it's been approved. So this is, they have to go and submit the Mylars, and basically, they have to come to you and get your approval. So all the steps have been taken that were necessary to get to you guys first.
So the one thing we would need to do is, since
The
it's a
hearing.
subdivision, we would need to
Have to
do a
set the
public hearing.
Yes, sir.
So we can't approve this tonight. We would need to have a public hearing since it is a subdivision. And of course, we have to go through the process of that. So Linda, what is the details on that? So we would need to
Probably the 20th.
publish a written,
So if we can schedule the public hearing for
25th?
the 25th of April, that gives me time to have it published in the newspaper 10 days prior to the public hearing and have it posted on site.
okay.
Okay, I'll go back and let him know that.
So rather than approving that, are we all good with scheduling that for the 25th?
I am.
Okay. And then we'll vote on it after the public hearing.
So do we need to make a motion to allow her to have a public hearing, to publicize it? or
Yes.
anything?
Yes, we would.
Did you make a motion?
No, he asked a question.
I thought you made a
No, but I can make a motion. I make a motion that we move forward for the public hearing
On the 20.
Yeah.
on the 25th.
Okay.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second to move forward and have the city clerk set the public hearing for April 25th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Moving on, we have agenda item number 11, professional services agreement with Wilderness and Emergency Care Consulting, PLLC. This was brought in by Chief Burkhart. Chief?
Good evening, Council Mayor. So this is for our medical director over our annual service, so every entity has to operate under a doctor, as well as our annual service being managed by that doctor for our care, quality assurance, trainings, et cetera. Our previous medical director passed away quite rapidly, so we're kind of put in a pinch. With the help of the state and some of the DEA, we were able to get a lot of our documents transferred over to a doctor that's covering until April 1st. Southeastern Colorado RETAC, which is our Southeastern Colorado Trauma Advisory Council, went through a pretty exhaustive application process for the new medical directors. They interviewed, I think at one time they had up to 6 applications, and finally got narrowed down to Dr. Jeremy DeWall. He is currently a medical director for several other agencies up in the Front Range, up in the mountains. He also sits on the board of PCC, Hunts Peak, quite a few other education agencies as well. He has an extensive contract here. You guys had a chance to go ahead and read it. Lance and I batted around a couple times, just to make sure we were all okay with that, and sure you're fine.
I have no issues with it. Just one piece I did forget to mention is it looks to me like, well, the contract doesn't have anything specific into Tabor, and it's an automatically renewable contract. So I guess I would just like to add an addendum so council's good with approving that. I would ask for you to also approve and have the mayor to sign an addendum with the Tabor language included, which is what we did on CCOM, several other agreements like this that were similarly situated, where they didn't include that appropriation language. But otherwise, I don't have any issues. Can terminate anytime, 30-day written notice, so.
Okay.
Would you be able to slap that on Kimmy first thing?
Yeah, I can get it to you tomorrow.
So that way we get, so we need to try to get this in place by April 1st for us to continue on with the annual service. So I'm quite positive Dr. Wall won't have an issue with that, especially dealing with other municipal agents as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Is the cost set every month or only when you use it?
So it is set quarterly, payments, $1,500 quarterly. And previously this was unbudgeted because it was provided through the RETAC, but now they've kind of changed out how the state wants everybody contracted, so now it's contracted based on the agency itself, so he's contracted with every other agency that was this area. It wasn't budgeted, but what we can utilize is our, we call it our RETAC funds. So the state distributes monies to each agency, we apply through RETAC, so we can utilize those funds to pay bills.
Okay.
Are we gonna pay this quarterly or yearly?
So with a lot of the Cdphg stuff, he has to report quarterly, so I believe that's why he has it set up in quarters.
I move we approve the agreement and have mayor sign it and sign all necessary paperwork with the Tabor language amendment.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the mayor to sign the agreement and to approve the agreement with the Tabor amendment included. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, agenda item number 12 is to authorization to forego bid process for the purchase of a new Caterpillar 826K compactor. This was initiated by Kristen McCray. Kristen?
Yes, the council had approved in sanitation's budget the purchase of a new Caterpillar, or new compactor, excuse me. There's only two brands available. One is built in the United States and one's built overseas. So this is actually an exclusive item, and my purchasing policy says if we have such an item, that I can bring it to council when, with your approval, we can go forward without having to go through the formal bid process. It's a Caterpillar model. We actually have the benefit of having two mechanics that live in Prowers County that are CAT certified mechanics. Our regional manager is also from Lamar, so we have quite a benefit of having CAT equipment here. They have a special program where they have a part drop, and you can order parts. They drop those parts at that drop, and you don't have to pay shipping or anything on those parts. It's like you have a local store. So there's a lot of advantages to staying with an American-made product. The other one, we looked it up, and I believe he said it was maybe from Switzerland, which means you have to, anytime it would need parts, you'd have to get those from overseas, and it's hard enough to get parts now. So I'm just asking permission to go forward with a Caterpillar product and go ahead and do the purchase of the new compactor for the sanitation fund. So
Is there some kind of a price on this piece of equipment? Or?
we have $850,000 budgeted right now in the capital for it. So we will be getting the final quote from them. So you guys did approve the $850,000 for that during the budget process.
So we don't have a contract for it yet, is that right?
No, and we won't need one. It's just, it will be an outright purchase of the piece of equipment. They do have one available, I do know. I haven't gotten a final price on it yet. But it is exclusive, so even the next closest dealer is in, I believe it was in Liberal, Kansas. But I spoke to them, and what Caterpillar actually has, you have to stay within your region to purchase Caterpillar equipment. If we tried to go to Liberal and purchase it, that dealer would get a penalty, and they'd have to pay a penalty to Caterpillar for going outside of their region. So Caterpillar keeps it very exclusive to your region, so that, I'm just following the purchasing policy and asking council to approve me to go forward with the purchase of the Caterpillar compactor.
I'd still like to know what the final price is with our trade-in before we go writing a check, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll get the best deal, and we'll stay within budget, but yes, I mean, it's been approved, so, but I can do whatever council directs.
In the event that it was over the budget, you'd have
I
to
would come back.
So,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for the city treasurer?
And we're gonna make sure that the purchase price includes delivery and setup, correct?
That's correct. That is, they do offer that with that large piece of equipment. And we are trading in the old one. And I think it has about 17,000 hours on it, so it'll be a good trade-in.
I move to authorize the city treasurer to forego the bidding process on this particular budgeted item, Caterpillar compactor from Wagner Equipment.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize the city treasurer to forego the bidding process and move forward with the purchase of the budgeted compactor. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Agenda item number 13 is authorization to apply for the Quick Win Grant through Cdphg. This is initiated by Kristen McCray. Kristen, would you like to speak on this?
I'm going to let Rick go ahead and talk to you about it. He's got the details on it.
And I want to thank Kristen for getting it on the agenda. This is one that I failed to get on the agenda, so I do appreciate her doing that. This is a grant that Cdphg put out. It's a $5,000 grant, no cash match at all, just $5,000 if we get it, to be used for outdoor recreation, to get the kids active and stuff. And what it does qualify for, and if we got the grant, what we'd use it for would be to get the new soccer goals at Escondido and some benches. And so that's what our hope is, that we get the grant and then we can use that to purchase that. Again, it's for $5,000 and no cash. So I'm just asking council for approval to apply for this grant, which is due April 1.
Do you have to specifically come to with a price and everything on the grant, or is it just for $5,000 to spend?
No, we have to let them know what we're trying to purchase. We just can't say we want $5,000. They like to know what it's for, to make sure that we follow the parameters of the grant.
But you'll spend all $5,000 one way or another, right?
Yeah. And Kendra's
Exactly.
done some research on prices, so she's digging that up for us too, so that we can put that in the application.
Making a motion to accept the application for the grant.
Second that?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize Parks and Rec to apply for the grant. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. So now we are at the end of the meeting. We have miscellaneous items. Do we have any questions we needed to address, or? Okay. We will try.
Will the mayor and council be putting a new set of ordinances on the next ballot pertaining to cannabis licensing and taxation within Lamar city limits? Or will they be requiring a new petition to be submitted to do so?
Okay. That is a good question. We actually have an executive session. That ruling was made on Friday or Thursday. We haven't had a chance to meet and to discuss that ruling until tonight with our executive session. We'll be meeting with our attorneys and discussing what we do next. So unfortunately, we don't have an answer for that viewer, but hopefully we'll get some direction in the next this next week or two, and we'll be able to provide more information on the direction. But at this time, we'll have to postpone our response until after we've had our executive session and move forward. Okay, any other questions? All right. Okay, so with that said, we do have an executive session for discussion of personnel matter under Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses F. This is for a discussion with the city administrator and to conduct the performance evaluation of the city clerk and for a conference with the attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on a specific legal questions under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses B. So we do have a long executive session with 3 different topics, and we just need to move into that.
Make a motion to move in executive session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
So for those that are watching, we will be going into our executive session now. We do not have any questions or comments or votes coming out of the executive session. So after the session, we will close our meeting, so there's nothing further that we'll record or publish. But we will look forward to seeing you on our next meeting. So thank you for all for